Next we have slope. So slope is the same thing as rate of change. And our formulas here are rise over run, change in y over change in x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in all of these, it just wants us to find the slope. So for this first one, it's a table, which means our slope is change in y over change in x. So this is x. F of x, remember, is the same thing as y. So we're going to do change in y first. So from -1 to +1, that's +2. From 1 to 3, it's also +2. Now our change in x from -1 to 0, +1. 0 to 1 is +1. So our change in y here is 2. So we have change in y over change in x. Change in y is 2. Change in x is 1, which means our slope here is 2. Next one, we have 2 points, which means we're going to use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're just going to label the points. So this first one is x1, then y1, x2, y2. So each coordinate should have an x and a y, and they should have the same number. Now we're just going to substitute these back into this formula. So y2 is -7, y1 is -1, so minus -1, x2 is +1, x1 is 2. So -7 minus -1, that would become a plus. So -7 plus 1 is -6. 1 minus 2 is -1. -6 divided by -1 is +6. So our slope here is +6. Now we have a graph. So this one would be rise over run. And you can just pick any 2 points. So I'm going to pick this one right here and this one right here. If you pick this middle point, you get the same answer. So rise means I either go up or down. So I'll start here, and notice to get to the next point, I go up 1, 2. So my rise over run, since I went up 2, my rise is a +2. Now I go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right is again positive, so my run would be +6. When you simplify this, the top and the bottom can both be divided by a 2. So my final slope here is 1 over 3. And a note here, so to make sure if it's positive, that is up and right. Negative is down and left. So up and right mean it's a positive, down and left means it's a negative. This last one, we don't really have a set equation that this looks like. So this is just a random equation. But if we remember, we know y equals mx plus b. That gives us our slope. This one almost looks like that, so we're going to try to manipulate this equation to make it look like y equals mx plus b, then we'd be able to find our slope. So first thing we can do is just distribute here. So I could have y equals 2.5 plus 0.75 times x is 0.75x. 0.75 times -2. So this is one that you can just use your calculator on. So 0.75 times -2 is just -1.5. Now we can just combine our like terms. So 2 plus 5 minus 1.5 would give us y equals 0.75x plus 1. Now this is in the same form as y equals mx plus b, which means m equals 0.75. And that's how you find slope for many different situations.